Okay, so now that we have seen different ways of importing data into observable using D3, let's apply some basic statistics on the data. First, let me fix this by changing its name to something more proper, like data file. Now, let's say we want to know the average weight of all the cars in this dataset. First, we need to extract the weight column from the dataset. A small piece of code will do this job for us. Let's name the variable values. And on the dataset, we will call the map function where we will write something fancy like this. This is a lambda function. With the help of the map function, D will have the values in each row and d.weight will extract the weight of that row and put it into the values section. In other words, this simply extracts all the weights from the array and puts it into values. Running this will show you exactly that. Alright, so now that we have the values extracted, operations that we can apply on this are we can extract the maximum, similarly the minimum. Interestingly, there is a -1 here. We can also take the average, the deviation, and so on and so forth. We can also, instead of the weight column, we can change this to the length column, and all of this value will update automatically. Let's now quickly do a histogram plot on this data. To do this, we will have to import chart from this library. Couple of details here. We're importing chart, but we will be referring to it as chart1. Also, our data will come from our variable or array called values. If you run this, nothing will happen, but if you call chart1 right after this line, you'll get a nice histogram plot. If we change the values to, let's say, the weight, the histogram plot will update automatically. Now we will do other type of plots using Vega-Lite. Again, first we need to import Vega-Lite. And we will be using the embedded version of it. We will now go into the Vega-Lite website, click on the tutorials, and quickly copy paste the code that has both X and Y in it. So we will select this. Before pasting it, we will add the word Vega-Lite, start a bracket, close a bracket, and paste it in between. For us, we will change the entire values with our data. Let's change the field to the name of the cars, and that field name is vehicle name. It is of type nominal, so we will leave it this way. Let's rename this to weight, and this is of type quantitative, and let's run it. So for every car, we have a point about the weight in the plot. We can change this to a bar chart, and this will become a bar chart. We can change this to a line chart, and there you go. Let's bring it back to the point chart. Instead of the vehicle name, let's add length here. Let's change this to quantitative as well, because it is a quantitative field. And instead of having so many weight for each length, let's take the mean of the weight for each of the lengths. However, it's still hard to understand if there is any pattern going on here. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm not gonna worry too much about removing this for now. Let's just increase the width of the plot. So we can do it by adding width, and let's say changing it to 100 and a comma. Okay, we need something a little bit more. Alright, it seems like with increasing length, there is an increase in weight. Of course, that kind of makes sense. But what about not just the weight? Let's take a look if there's an increase in price, if there's a pattern there too as well. So let's go back to the data again, and let's find the price column. Okay, so it's called the retail price. Let's come back here. Instead of the weight, let's change it to retail price. There seems to be some kind of a pattern here, but not as well as length versus weight. All in all, that's all about drawing plots using Vega-Lite for now. However, I would like to finish this segment by showing you a couple of things that might be useful for extracting the plots from this notebook and sharing the link of the notebook. You can download any plot from this notebook by clicking onto the dots and hitting the download button. You can share this notebook with anybody by making it public, hitting the publish button here, or just sharing a link with your friends by enabling link sharing. More details on sharing can be found in the link here. Also, I have attached a cool link that teaches you how to legally steal very cool plots from others.